Good morning again, guys. Well, it seems like Thursday is the new Friday. Yeah, uh, trust me, I did not plan on being sitting in front of the camera here again today, but this one, I mean, I'd already recorded lunchtime video, so that one's ready to go, but this one is going to be up earlier, so you're going to get multiple videos today. And I apologize for the delays, but YouTube is having one hell of a time uploading and processing videos today. They are very slow. So I don't know if the servers are bogged down or what's going on, but needless to say. All right. This one's important, and I don't mean to, my intent is not to fearmonger or scare anybody or anything like that. I just want to kind of go over it. There's a report that came out a couple of days ago, an article in the Washington Examiner, and then Glenn Beck touched on it yesterday. I want to talk about this. This is the headline: Iran readies for grid blackout war with U.S. Okay. Now, what this means is Iran is looking at detonating an EMP over the United States. There is speculation out there that sometimes within the next 8 weeks. That in itself is scary as shit. Now, this isn't just some goofy article written by somebody. This is actually a report that came out from Department of Homeland Security. All right. And I will link below the article, which in the article has the DHS report. So I want you guys to look at this. This is not just some fanatic talking about it, whatever. Now, I'm going to kind of touch on some of this. The first thing everybody's going to say is, oh, this is BS. Iran does not have nuclear capabilities at this point. No, they do not. But who is Iran's biggest ally? North Korea, who does have nuclear technology. Okay. Supposedly, according to this report, Iran is saying that the reason they want to do this is because they want to destroy Jerusalem, destroy Israel, and the United States is the only thing standing in the way. And if they can send us back to the 1800s, then there's no worry about them, and they can go steamrolling on into Israel. Now, I think that's taking, not giving enough credit to the Israeli military, but even then, still, that's a battle that could feasibly be a little bit more equal than if the U.S. is in there. So, the next thing people say is Iran does not have the technology to do something like this. And as the article points out, they do not have the technology to send or have intercontinental ballistic missiles that can go through re-entry into the atmosphere. All right. When you figure when you send an ICBM, it literally goes into space and then comes back in. We all remember the space shuttle and the tiles and everything like that for when the space shuttle comes back in, and you'd see all that like flame coming out of the nose of the shuttle and everything, because that's breaking through the atmosphere, coming back into re-entry. Iran doesn't have that capability. So you get a lot of people saying, oh, no big deal. They can't do it. It'll just explode at the atmosphere. No, here's why. Iran does have the capability of putting a medium-range missile on ships. Now, there's cargo ships all over the place. I mean, we all talked about, what's on these cargo ships coming from China or whatever it would be. Who's to say that there isn't a cargo ship that has a medium-range missile on it? Doesn't take much, guys. There's only 3 grids in the United States: East Coast, West Coast, Texas. All right. Send one over the East Coast, send one over the West Coast. Hell, even you don't even have to send one over Texas. Even just send one, get it over the East Coast and knock out the East Coast power grid. You have utter freaking chaos. This is possible. I can't say anything about the 8 weeks time frame. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of this information, certainly, that is going to be classified. The government's going to know a hell of a lot more than we do. But the fact that some of this got put out to the media and this report got released to the public, all right, and this was released about a week and a half ago, I guess. I didn't hear anything about it. Did you? Did anybody say anything on Fox, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, PBS, whatever it is? You think this might be something that we'd want to know about, okay? We're also, by we, I mean the U.S. public, is so focused on, regarding war, on what's going on with Ukraine, Russia. Nobody's paying attention to the other threats, Iran, North Korea, China, anything like this. Imagine what happens if Iran does this. You know, we've talked about the book 1 Second After many times, all right? And in the book, the story is the EMP was set off by Tehran, okay? I'll just throw one at you here, okay? Nostradamus said World War III would be started by a man in a turban. I'm just putting it out there, okay? Just saying. But imagine what happens if we go into an EMP and go back to the book 1 Second After. The entire world is in, or the entire country at least, is in chaos. You have half the population dying within the first 30 days. You've got a lot more dying within the first 90 days. You know, if you remember in the book, for those of you that read it, they ransacked the stores instantly, and very quickly everybody was out of food. But there was one family in town that was preppers and had stockpiled a whole bunch of food. And the town all agreed that because they did it on their own, their food was not going to be considered part of the overall collective's food. Okay? This is why we prep. It's not for the when, it's for the if. Because it's certainly for the when as well. If this happens, the scenario in the book is exactly what plays out. Utter chaos, and everybody's scrambling to go get food at the store, get whatever they can. I mean, you are talking about complete mayhem. We don't want to be involved in that. That's, again, when you're sitting on your front porch, armed, okay, making sure that once the grocery store, once the drugstore, the Walmart is run out, that everybody doesn't go, hey, that house has food, let's go see if we can do it. And you're going, pink, 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 pink. No, you're not coming here, okay? This is why we prep. This is why we get solar generators, backup water, food, weaponry, everything, okay? If you haven't read the book 1 Second After, go find it and read it. At least read the first one. The next two, okay, that's kind of talking about the aftermath, but the first one is what happens basically in the first 90-ish days, first year, okay? And you need to be aware of this, because there's a lot of crazy people in the world. We think Putin's insane, okay? You tell me the sanity in any of those ayatollahs. I don't see protests running around Moscow ever going death to America. I don't see the Russians burning the flag on Red Square, but you see videos of that constantly in Iran. Under the cover of darkness, while everybody's watching over here, Russia, Ukraine, what's Iran doing over here? You know, remember this. Everybody in Washington is so against North Korea having nuclear weapons. but they have them. But why is it that the Biden administration is totally okay with Iran going back to the Iran nuclear policy? Iran is a threat, and Joe is making it all happen. Pinball out.